Always powered by coffee each and every time. That is the Mighty Psycho promise. That's right. Well, let's see. We are at March 9th. Just a couple more weeks from now to be Easter and the first quarter of the year. Mick has retained his rightful throne of being first in the Psycho broadcast. How you doing, Robbie? How you doing? You know, yeah, I don't have really a lot to talk about. I figure we'll probably do an hour today. Hey, we just started this up, Dwayne. The old gang's all here. Coming in slowly but surely. That's great. It's a Saturday night. Lord knows what's going on out in the real world and out in the VC world. I know AEW probably has their TV tapings or whatever. Any of you people see the Sting retirement match with Darby Allin? Spoiler alert. They actually retained the tag team titles, and then Sting retired, making those titles vacant. Now they will be having I don't know if they're going to do a tournament or what. Anyways, I wanted to give you some updates on things. Firstly, I really honestly thank you people, and there's a lot of you that have reached out to me privately, and for the prayer groups and the prayer circles and everything for my newly born granddaughter, Charlotte. It appears that there is no leaking of the esophagus. We are doing good. 2 of the 3 tubes that she had a breathing tube and I think a feeding tube, was taken out. She's got 1 tube left. So she is, on the road to recovery, if you will. St. Louis has basically said, though, and I can completely understand this, that even though she is heading in the right direction, they do kind of want to keep her for 2 to 3 weeks. So just continued prayers, please, that this continues to go in the right direction. And, after she's released and give him a few week breather before Crazy Grandpa. I got to give him a few week breather for Crazy Grandpa because, that's all there is to it because she's already been through a lot, But I just want to thank you guys, okay? My friends, my family, and my second family here, pretty much. You guys are, at least to me, you are. And it's funny because, sure, we talk and we do our comments, and like I said, I had a handful of people that do messenger me, and they've offered me their phone numbers, actually, and I'm not being rude or anything. I just haven't called back yet. The handful of people will know what I'm talking about. It's just my days off get so stupidly busy. They really, really do. I always thought the adage is when you got older that you'd have a lot more time on your hands. That's not the case. I've gotten busier. Like compared to 10 years ago, I am busy. So, I know the title, you guys are going to be going, what the fuck? Big Bopper, Walking After Midnight to Porkys. I like coming up with these titles. They're fun. So I only got 3 records to show. Okay, that's it. That's all I got this past week was 3, because I kind of have a half money crunch right now, if you will. But if you people saw me, Mr. Mayo's broadcast from today, then you already saw 2 of the 3 albums that I'm going to bring up here. So just forgive me anyway. That was a good little panel this morning. I like being over there. I think I even landed over at Rachel's. What was that, about 2-3 days ago for just a little bit? How you doing there, Glenn? How are you? Fonzie, you can go move upstairs above the garage. Or the new one now that people seem to like. I wish my brother George was here. Where's my candelabra? See? I say it, and then Ambrosi shows up. This is all Oasis all the time. No, it's not. No, it's not. As much as I like them. And the Mercurial, that's a long word, Gallagher brothers. Yeah. I wish they'd kiss and make up. You know, speaking of another one. Yeah, good old Liberace. You know, I remember when I was in the lyrics of Mr. Sandman from the Chordettes, and I remember that they said that their dreamboat they wanted waves of hair like Liberace. You know, this didn't come overnight. Yes, Willie, it's like coffee with Paul, Danny, and hello all. Anyways, I got to get out of that Liberace imitation. I'll be on it forever. So, Big Bopper. You all know what happened to him. February 59, February 3rd to be exact. The day the music died. One of the three biggins in there. I said biggins. But in 1958, Mercury Records did put out one lone standing album, Chantilly Lace. I came across a real copy of that, probably 5-6 years ago, right? At a record store. And the price wasn't too ridiculous. I looked, one side was beautiful. The other side, deep fucking scratch right in the middle of the record. I hate that shit. I just do. But, saying that, he dies. I'm told that the album fell out of print around 1960, and then no Big Bopper album for 17 years. Until 1977, when Pickwick, of all people, I said this in Joe's channel, I would never normally get a Pickwick release, okay? Although saying that, there was some up-and-coming musicians, if I remember correctly. Lou Reed was one of them that recorded for Pickwick. So you may want to find those 60s things, but other than that, they ended up cranking out, let me pull this out of here so it doesn't get the glare, 1977, they reissued, but with a different cover. Instead of him with the phone going, "Hello, baby," you get a Wurlitzer jukebox instead. Big Bopper, Chantilly Lace. I like these kind of Wurlitzer jukeboxes. I always said that if I had money to piss away, that I would buy one of these things and fill it with 50s and early 60s 45s. You betcha. Here's the front. Here's the back. Yes. And it looks like they're all just getting ready to, you know what's kind of cool, and it's too bad you really can't see it, but there's two pinball machines. I'd like to know what pinball machines those were. I love old school pinball. I do. And then, I don't know what paper sleeve, because it came up in a Mylar, but that's, of course, what you're going to be looking like. All right. I haven't had a chance to listen to this yet, but I can't wait to tell you the honest truth. Hopefully tomorrow or maybe later tonight I'm going to spin it. I don't know. Maybe. So that's the Big Bopper part. Walking After Midnight, you probably can figure that out just from the title itself. But what was really funny was, yeah, I know, right, Glenn? You know, I mean, I read an article not too long back that the collectability of doo-wop has gone way down. Well, the thing is, you know, okay, I'm only 56, going on 57. The true people that bought the doo-wop records would be in their 60s and 70s, you know, the OGs, okay? And for people like me to appreciate that stuff is actually, I don't want to say rare per se, I mean, I know a handful of people in my age group that do actually enjoy 50s music and doo-wop. It's just, if the stuff isn't very collectible, then how the hell is it hard to find? At that record show I went to last week, not that I was looking, but I got excited for 2 seconds, and just 2, till I saw the MCA choral on the top left-hand corner. It was a reissue of the Chirping Crickets, because I am looking. I have an original first press, although the cover is taped, you know, like they would have in the late 50s. It's that kind of tape. I ain't messing with it. Cellophane. So it's all over. I'll have to show it to you guys sometime. I did show it years ago when I picked it up. I only paid $10 for it. It looks like it's a little beat, but it got cleaned up, and it actually sounds kind of nice for 1958. Buddy Holly. That is the only original LP I actually have. I am looking for... I know they made a couple EPs. I've never come across any Buddy Holly EPs. That Gene Vincent EP that I showed in the last episode, or the episode before that, with the record show finds, that was the first Gene Vincent EP I ever found. And I didn't know until I pulled up research for it that there was 3 different volumes of that Gene Vincent Rocks and the Blue Caps Roll. There's 3 different EPs with different tunes on it. So go figure. Yeah, 50s R&B, you betcha. I love all that old school stuff, you know. Of course, Little Richard, Ray Charles, Wilson Pickett, Jackie Wilson, all that stuff. You know, even what's more fun, the more unknown, the better. And you are right, the $1 Trillion Baby mix. I do want. I want to see. I did not get to take a look at the description on that box set. I heard that there was an unreleased concert, if I'm right, was put on the box set. But I want to see if there's outtakes, if there's studio outtakes. Because if there is, I might pull the trigger, but I can't now. I'm kind of piss poor for money. I said piss poor. John, hi. Hi, how you doing? Yes. We're trying here. Hour and a half tops for this one today, guys. So, Big Bopper, Walking After Midnight. I come up with, and I've never seen this before, okay? And no, it's not an original, obviously, Patsy Cline, but look at that picture. Just look at it. This is from Heartland Records. Now, Heartland Records, of course, they partnered with MCA for this. Excuse me, it's a 2-record set, okay? They made the cover a little extra wider, of course, no gatefold. You'd be looking at this, but you know what? Very nice shape. Like I'm barely seeing any blemishes on this. 99 cents. Could not screw that up if I wanted to. The Big Bopper was $5. And oh yeah, and that Pickwick reissue, I am led to believe there was some issue. It was either between Mercury or the Big Bopper estate, in other words, J.P. Richardson. That Chantilly Lace LP was only out in the marketplace for 12 to 18 months and then was yanked. That is what I heard. She does have a great voice, but you know what's funny is she hated that damn song. She mentioned that to several people, insiders. And, God, was one of them, why am I thinking right off the bat, I'm probably wrong. I mean, Jim Reeves was one that knew about that, and look what happened to him, right, a year later. And something tells me Johnny Paycheck, somehow she knew about him too, and Johnny Paycheck said the same story, that she hated singing Walking After Midnight. She just hated that damn song, and sometimes she wouldn't even do it in concert, or sometimes she would do a speedy version of it just to get it out of the way. I wouldn't know, because she's been dead, no offense, 61 years. I think my favorite still is I Fall to Pieces. I really do love that song. She had a hell of a voice. She really, really did. And then we take the third part of the title. So we go, Big Bopper, Walking After Midnight, to Porkys. Now, if you saw me Mr. Mayo stream earlier today, you saw that I showed this. But I still think this is a pretty damn cool album. I finally got to spin some of this earlier today. From 1985, Porky's Revenge. Porky's Revenge. Do you remember seeing the Porky movies? It's a trilogy. Now, I didn't know that, but they made another one after this, which I think is called The Day After or some shit. I don't remember. Anyways, it comes in a regular white sleeve, but it's on Columbia. All right. So, who's on here, you may ask? There was one reason why I bought this album, and it's because, all right, so 1982, Gone Troppo from George Harrison gets released, right? Last thing on his contract. He wouldn't do another album till 1987's Cloud 9. Excellent album. This is your very brief stopgap for being for 85 that this was recorded. He cuts a cover of Bob Dylan's Didn't Want to Do It. And I don't want to do it, excuse me, I'm tired. But there's other people on here of interest. So, side one, you got High School Nights, Dave Edmunds performs it, okay? Now, this whole album is produced by Dave Edmunds, which, I mean, that adds extra cool value to me, too, okay? And then you got the next track, he's doing a cover of Do You Want to Dance? Next track is a cover of Sleepwalk by Jeff Beck. Then you get to George's I Don't Want to Do It, which on guitar, Jimmy Vaughn from Fabulous Thunderbirds. Did not know that till I bought this album. So I think that's kind of cool that those two got to work together, even on one track. Stagger Lee, of course, performed by the Fabulous Thunderbirds. And we finish off side one with Blue Suede Shoes, recut, of course, new version, Carl Perkins, with Slim Jim Phantom and Lee Rocker from the Stray Cats. Yes, how fun is that? All right, side two. So then we go for Porky's Revenge, side two, Peter Gunn theme, performed by Clarence Clemens. Which that's kind of interesting. Queen of the Hop, performed by Dave Edmunds. Love Me Tender, made by Willie Nelson. Yeah, Willie Nelson's on here too. Then one that I really wish that would have lasted more than one song here, okay? Philadelphia Baby, performed by the Crawling King Snakes. The Crawling King Snakes are Robert Plant. Yeah, you got Zepp people. Paul Martinez. Now, Paul Martinez was Robert Plant's guitarist in his solo days in the mid to late 80s, if I remember correctly. And then you have Phil Collins and Dave Edmunds. I would have loved to have heard a little more than just this one track. I think that would have been fun. And, well, you could still get 3/4 of the King Snakes, because Paul, rest in peace. Oh, by the way, this video is in tribute to Steve Lawrence. Rest in peace, sir, Steve Lawrence. And then lastly, we finish off with Porky's Revenge, performed by Dave Edmunds with Chuck Leavell, of course, who, you know, you're talking Allman Brothers and Stones and everybody else. Michael Shreve and Kenny Aronson. So really, you all, instead of the HSAS band, you've got the ELSA band. See, so but yeah, and then I'm trying to think here. Oh, and then other additional musicians, the Heart Attack horns. If you remember Jack Mack and the Heart Attack, so yeah, the horn players from that. And then let's see, anybody else? No, very much. That's kind of the generality of all of it. Willie Nelson Love Me Tender was produced by Chips Moman. Yes, and we all know who that is because he was a legendary producer and also was embroiled in a brief bit of controversy with an unreleased Ringo album from the 80s. Yeah. I think it was like 86 to 87 or something. He cut an album that was too booze fueled. So that is your record finds. That's right. And like I said, Porky Revenge, I think, was $5. Big Bopper was $5. And like I said, Patsy Cline, 99 cents. You still can find cheap records out there, kids. You know, you just kind of have to dig around a little. That's all. I'm the fan of the $1, $2, and $3 records. Okay, you know, when it starts getting to be $5, it's like it better be something I may not see again, or it's in a way better condition. Now, since Danny's on here, I'll tell you what I did find at that record show. But the minute that the guy quoted the price, I immediately put it back in the damn box. It was the live one from the '70s. All right, the double album, and not the one that's the late '70s, and not Nectar in the beginning. That's not that one. I have that one, and I only paid $1 for that one. But it was on Passport, double live album. The title's escaping me. They wanted $40. I said, because I was actually looking for Nectar too. I'm trying to fill in those missing holes in the Nectar catalog for the vinyl, anyway. You know. So yeah. Other than that, guys, I hate to say this. I guess I really didn't have a hell of a lot, did I? What can we talk about? What do you want to talk about? That's what Cody Rhodes always says. Yes, I know. I think that I wish I had more bells and whistles. I will say this though, you know, there could be improvements into these broadcasts very, very soon. Yeah, $5. You really can't screw up too much. I mean, like I said, $5 is my borderline. And you know what? I'm not entirely sure about that either. Okay, about that. You know, that's the first time I've actually seen one. I've never seen Nectar's debut. I never have. The oldest thing I've got is an original Tab in the Ocean. I had signed by the three at that time, surviving members. I don't know if you know this, Danny, but Derek Moore and Mick Brockett, who does the visuals, they're the only ones left. When Ron died late last year, he's going to be a little bit on the new Nectar album when they're finished with it. I want to say 2 to 3 tracks. So, I mean, we'll still have a little bit of the old school left, which is great. But I didn't find out about Tab Freeman, who was the keyboard player in the 70s. He died in 2022, if I remember correctly. And the way I found out about it, the dude was kind of a little rude, you know, and I wasn't trying to be rude at all. I just didn't know he died. Because I put the question out there, and it wasn't on Nectar's website or wiki, so I didn't know Tab died. Because I looked just in case, and maybe I screwed up, and there wasn't at that time any information on Tab's death. And I said, well, it'd be kind of neat if Tab could come back, you know, and maybe guest or something. And that's when somebody who sounded angry anyway said, Tab's been dead since 2022. All right, well, I didn't know that. And it turned out I wasn't the only one that didn't know that. There was probably about a dozen more people outside of the compliment, well, not the compliment, but the comment about me apologizing, not knowing of his death. There was about a dozen other people that didn't know that either. So I guess somehow it was kind of a secret kept by whom, I'm not entirely sure. Oh yeah, you know what? Let me tell you something. I showed this in the Record Find video because I got it for free, but I got to listen to this thing, and I just want to tell you that, Glenn, you should check Nectar out. I would truthfully, you know, go listen to YouTube, I'm suggesting go listen to Remember the Future first, and then after that, Tab in the Ocean, and then if you still like them, then go listen to Down to Earth. Pain in my ears and in my eyes, as a certain individual says. But I did get a chance to listen to most of this Roseanne Cash 30th anniversary of The Wheel, all right? Well, I want to tell you, though, and I didn't know this until I started listening to this, who's really on this thing besides Roseanne, all right? You may be curious to pick this up, and if you can find it, that is a wonderful thing. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to use my glasses tiny writing, that's why. Yep. All right. Oh boy, that looked bad. Anyways, so yeah, so you've got on the first track. Yeah, this is, by the way, this is going to be a lot of background vocal, really, as your guests. So Mary Chapin Carpenter's on here right off the bat on the first track. This is the let's see, the third track. Nothing unusual. Let's see, fourth track. Mark Cohn, Mr. Walking in Memphis. He's on here for a track. Let's see, track 5. Nobody extra. Let's see, track 6. Oh yeah, track 6. Bruce Coburn is on harmony vocal. All right, for track 6. Then let's see, track 7 is a basic instrumental piece. Track 8, nothing big. 9 here. Track 9, nothing. Track 10. Benmont Tench, who of course was in Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, right? Yeah, I think Benmont Tench. Or was it Elvis Costello's Attractions? I always get that mixed up. And then to close it all out, so yeah, we've got Mark Cohn and Patty Larkin, Tommy Malone from the Subdudes, and Bruce Coburn. So yeah, fun stuff for Roseanne Cash's The Wheel. Can't complain, I got it for free. They had like a pile of about 20 free CDs. And because I bought something from them, they're like, hey, pick one of these. And I'm like, cool. So I picked the one, believe it or not, that seemed to be the most recognizable to me anyway. Not saying I don't like unrecognizable music, but Hope as well. And we got that. Hi, Elvin. Very good. And yes. So yeah, you know, so what else was I gonna say? So yeah, March 6th, let's see. So next Saturday. Now next Saturday, if I'm gonna do a show, I'm gonna have to do it earlier because next Saturday night I have tickets. Ringside tickets to Ozark Mountain Wrestling. Oh, yeah. That's the local organization, which was created and founded by Ivan Warsaw, a.k.a. Knuckles Malone from WWE NXT. Yeah, he was there for 2 years, 2013, 2014. And if I remember correctly, I think he briefly was in a WrestleMania around that time, too. So, if you missed anybody, hello. But that's the one we'll go see next Saturday. Then hopefully, you know, that's me and my executive producer, Donna Jo Catlady. We're going to go see that next Saturday. And then hopefully the following Saturday on the 23rd, might make a brief appearance in Joplin, Missouri at the Dig It Record Barn, because there will be a book signing having to do with the band Missouri. Yes, they cut 2 albums in the late 1970s. One was a local label. The other one landed on Polydor. And by 1980-81, that was the end of Missouri. They ended up, I think they just gigged locally until they finally died around 83, 84. But, and then the 30th of March, so see, the next 3 Saturdays are going to be busy. I get to go, me and Donna Jo, we're going to go to Springdale, Arkansas, to go see Mid-South Wrestling Entertainment with so far, they haven't mentioned all the guests, but supposedly Rob Van Dam and Brian Cage, both currently on AEW, by the way, but Mr. Monday Night, Rob Van Dam, that's the one I'm looking forward to. Nectar does have a few albums, Through the Ears compilation, Recycle, and Magic as a Child. Magic as a Child, I'm still looking 4 out of those 3. Recycle is a really cool LP. Tim, how are you, sir? I have not seen you in a while. I hope you're doing well. The greeting committee here. But, so that's what we're doing for the next 3 Saturdays. And then, let's see, what? Then we get to Easter. Yeah, 3 weeks from now will be Easter. Oh, yeah, and don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, 2 o'clock in the morning, Sunday here, daylight savings time. You get to lose an hour. That's right. Yeah, but at least you'll get longer sundowns. You know. Does that mean more Gordon Lightfoot? I don't know. Oh, I didn't know Tim was sick. I'm sorry, Tim. I thought, man, I hope you are feeling better. I know, you know, this winter, because even though for some of the country it doesn't feel like winter right now, but ever since the beginning of this year, maybe December 2023, that crud that was going around was not cool. It took me several weeks to get that out of my damn system, and it still lingered even another week or 2 after that. And I'm just like, jeez, ridiculous, totally ridiculous, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, and you have to go, and I have to go to work in the morning. Yeah, I know, me too. I don't wanna. Oh no, Tim, I didn't know you broke your arm. Shit, Tim, did you go off and do a daredevil stunt again? You know, Tim Allen, ladies and gentlemen, is the Super Dave of the VC. Go look up on Tim Allen's YouTube channel. He has done many things, okay? He attempted to locally beat Evel Knievel's record of jumping over 100 buses, ladies and gentlemen. 100 buses. Now, I know that you're saying, Psycho, you're being an ass and you're being ridiculous. Nobody, even Evel Knievel, could even jump 100 buses. But I didn't tell you that they were Hot Wheels buses. See, because they're... I'm ashamed of myself. Ashamed. Everybody knows I'm fucked up. Broke my right arm. So, once again, I hope your arm is healing very well. And I'm sorry that you broke your arm, damn it. That's, I don't know. 100 Hot Wheel buses. I don't know if anybody's going to get this joke. The safe word is whiskey. I love Hot Rod. That movie is so fucking stupid. And I'm just like, I watch, if I get depressed, I'll watch that maybe once every 6 months. If you're beating me, you're only beating half a man. I just like that beginning sequence where the credits are rolling and the suspense is there. And he tries to jump and hits the damn RV in the side of it. I'm like, that's great. That's just fantastic. That'd be like something that would happen to me. That's for sure. Good. It's healing. Maybe put on that album from Todd Rundgren as an added bonus from 1981. I don't mind that album so much, actually. Healing's an okay song, but I like Time Heals. That video was a real weird video back in the days of MTV. I know some people that, you either love Todd or you hate Todd. Well, I don't necessarily hate Todd, but I would still say probably his 70s stuff all the way up to, now this is Solo in Utopia. To me, it was like, I don't know, after 83, I kind of got off the Todd train, if you will, because I just couldn't listen to it. I mean, I know he had I Don't Want to Work, I Just Want to Bang on My Drum All Day, which, of course, I like that song, from the 80s, but I'm just like, I'd rather listen to his 60s work with the Nas. I love the Nas. I mean, that's some great shit right there. It's just too bad now, like I said, that there can't be a reunion now. I mean, I did try. I really did, because I talked to Stookie, And I talked to, oh God, Stookie and, oh, what the hell? The drummer. Help me. I got to talk to both of them individually. And I'm like, we need a new EP from the Nas with Todd. And then maybe you guys can have Kasem Sultan on bass since Carson's dead. They actually were up for it. I'm like going, oh, hell yeah. And then, yeah, he was great in the Nas, I'll tell you. I mean, I don't care that Open My Eyes, which is probably my favorite track, of course. The beginning of it sounds like I Can't Explain from The Who. Yeah, see what I mean? It's like, yeah, they are pretty cool. I do want to end up getting, I'm surprised I didn't find any of that. And I didn't really go with a list at the record show, but let me tell you something. To my knowledge, I did not see any Todd, in the Nas. Although I have an original OG Nas, so I don't need to look for that. I have a Rhino reissue on red vinyl for Nas, and then years ago I had a Rhino reissue of Nas 3, but I don't know where the hell that went, which basically was leftovers. But so what? Even the leftovers were quite interesting. So yeah, Something Anything, definitely. That album, Runt. I came across Faithful and Swing to the Right. Now, I don't have To Face the Music, which is basically his adoration for the Beatles, if you will. Yeah, 3 albums in 2 years. Ain't that crazy? Yeah, and you know what? That version's okay. It is for me, but I'm so used to hearing Todd sing it, Yeah, see, John, but I'm a picky ass. Now I want an OG of Nas 2 and Nas 3. So hopefully, maybe sometime down the line, I will find them. I think the only other thing, and I only had so much money to walk in with on that show. I think I could have probably talked down the record guy because I was looking around. Like I said, I was there from 9 to noon, and they would close up at 3. Okay, so there was even people at noon that were slashing prices because they didn't want to take the stuff home. And I'm just like, unfortunately, there was nothing interesting for me. But I probably could have maybe got away with, well, slightly under $100 for 2 albums. And I know you're like, what? Well, they had an OG of Dennis Wilson's Pacific Ocean Blue. I have been wanting that. That is a beautiful record. Yes, I know it's reissued, okay? Eventually I'll get the one with the bonus tracks on the CD, but and I know they put it out for RSD, but I don't care. I want an OG on this. And they had one for $50, and I don't know if that's a good price or not. I have a sneaky feeling that it was a hell of a lot cheaper before somehow the spotlight landed on that album, and then it jacked the price up. Because, yeah, 50. And then the other, which maybe I could have, got him to talk down to 40. And then, of course, the other guy had the Birds and the Bees, not the Birds, Bees, Monkeys. I'm still looking for that in mono. No. He had, from January 71, The Barrel Full of Monkeys, that double album, the last release from Cold Gem Records, which was the only Monkey release done on Dynaflex. It was an early Dynaflex release, but he wanted 60, and I mean the guy was willing to go down on that. That didn't sound right, but I know where I'm going on this. If I maybe had like $45 or $50, I would have offered it, and maybe I would have got that. See, now that would have been cool. I would have loved to have seen. Here's my regret. Penny, the fact is that I lived in Chicagoland for those first 40 years. I really had no excuse not to go see Ringo and his all-star band from 89 on. Was it 89? Yeah, I think so. And because either they would come into the Chicagoland area or
Alpine Valley in East Troy, Wisconsin. I would have rather gone to the outdoor venue anyway. That's right. I like the second Swing to the Right is probably my favorite Utopia album. Like I said, I do like that one. You know, I cannot remember, Dave, if I actually saw that video. I don't have to go and remind myself. Like I said, due to this short-term memory loss bullshit, I could have maybe saw something a week or two ago, and it's brand new to me. You know, this is getting kind of, that COVID brain shit really scared the hell out of me, seriously. I mean, you people that have been around with me way before 21, and you could go back to the older tapes, and I had a little bit more spark plugs going, you know. I'm just a little off. But, so let's see, what else? What else to my lovely 11 people here? Not that it really matters. If somebody else got something, I see. Let's say, so Grant's got Soft Cell Live from the 80s cruise. That just pulled up on a notification. You know what? Maybe when they were performing, they had Tainted Love when they were performing. I know that was horrible. I don't care. Yeah. But, you know, that's the whole thing of all of it, right? So there is a couple very cool releases that I'm looking forward to. Now, I'm a little behind the curve here. Like I said, I did end up, I'll be reviewing in the next couple of weeks the new Blackstone Cherry and the new Saint Ansonia CDs. And I'll do separate interviews for that. And I'm hoping on my next paycheck here to order, I'll be a little behind in the curve here, but Ace Frehley's 10,000 Volts. So far, I've heard 4 tracks. I like 2 of them, and the other 2 are you know, but I do have to give credit where credit is due. Steve, oh my Lord, what's his name? Steve Brown from Trickster was involved in every track. So, you know, maybe he might have found himself a new writing partner, and that's pretty cool considering I don't think Trickster's even doing anything anymore. Why does that not surprise me either? Wasn't Todd on his list? There was a bunch of people on his list. I know Paul was on the list. James Taylor was on the list. I think David Bowie was on the list. I'm going, good Lord, man. See, now I'm not surprised about that either. Because, I mean, let's face it. Bad Out of Hell is always going to be my favorite Meatloaf album. Hands down. Actually, that one. And the second one is really good, too. Third, not so much. But that Bad Out of Hell, I mean, you got for backing people, okay. Who the hell was singing with him? Oh, God. Was it Ellen Foley? I cannot remember. I'm sorry. You know, Paradise by the Dashboard Light. Who the hell sings it with me? So, you got the background, and basically it is Todd producing Utopia back, you know, in there performing along with half of the E Street Band is in there too. I know I saw Roy Bittan and I saw Max Weinberger in this thing too, and I'm going, what the hell? I said, talk about an album that it'd be really hard to fuck up when you got that way. Was Liz Taylor on that list too? Huh, jeez. I'll give you a Who the Big Bopper. Hello, baby. Ellen Foley, okay, thank you. Because he had, back in the 70s, didn't he have somebody else too? I know it's not Carla Bonoff. Who the hell was the other one other than Ellen Foley? That drives me nuts. Oh, no, that's cool that you saw her live. Carla DeVito, thank you. That's the other name. Judas Priest's new album has heard all of it online. Quite impressive. You know what? I have got I heard Invisible Shields. That's all I've heard so far. I need to hear the rest. I was a big fan of firepower. That album, I did it if you a long time ago. I did a review episode, guys. You go scroll down and you'll find my review. That was a hell of an album. I was very pleased with that album, and I'll be very curious to see how this one goes. Like I said, I might pick that up too. The Priest I'll probably pick up. Ace I'll pick up. The new Blue Oyster Cult, which is going to be the final studio LP. Ghost Stories, that I'll probably pick up. Maybe that $1 Trillion Baby edition of Alice Cooper, if they've got it like at least in a double CD, because I wouldn't mind hearing some of the outtakes and such. I'm going to have a long laundry list this year. There are artists whose first album was their best. Oh, you betcha. No. Boston's first album, though, you betcha. That album was, the story goes about that album is that Epic went off and said to Tom Schultz, we're hiring a producer. Now, mind you, they heard the demos. They heard all of it. It was done. And that's what Epic said. So they chose Roy Thomas Baker. Yeah, there was others in the mix, but Roy Thomas Baker was one of them. And, Roy calls Tom Schultz back, and he says, look, I can't do anything extra to this record. You did a hell of a job. We're just going to pretend, wink, that I sweetened it up a little. I'll tell the record company that. And Epic never found out. Never found out. Right, and if I remember, was it on the Bad Attitude LP, or was it Dead Ringer? It was one of those two. That's right, she was on Night Court. I do love the Doors' first album, I really do. I was blessed enough to go to a estate sale here in town. The guy had hundreds of albums, oh my God. And I mean, if I had more money, I would have bought more because the condition was decent. Okay, they weren't scratched to holy hell, and and they weren't minty. But I grabbed Doors' first album in mono, but they ran out of mono jackets because there's a mono from the record company pasted over the stereo part. So, but that mono sounds beautiful. Okay, now I'm going to be an idiot and asking, I didn't know the Amboy Dukes are on the list for RSD. Is it just a reissue of an album, or do they have like a live thing or what? Tom Schultz was very bright. He worked for Polaroid. I heard he created a lot of things. Of course, the Rockman amp. Yeah, that guy was a definite, Mr. Wizard. I'll tell you that. But unfortunately, from what I've also heard behind the scenes, is that he could be an ass to, and he was, to every member of Boston. Okay, that first album, there's only one track. I don't know if I'm going to get this right. I want to say Rock and Roll Band. Rock and Roll Band is the only song on that first Boston album that has the band that's pictured on the cover, because most of it is Tom, Brad Delp, and Jim Mazdia, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, who of course would come back at third stage and drum 3/4 of that album. But yeah, I heard like every member had some beef with Tom, and it's just, and I only am going to say allegedly on this, but as we know about what Brad's death was, which actually, if I remember correctly, either today's the day that happened or it was yesterday, it was one of them, which was one of the strangest rock deaths that I ever heard of. But of course, it said in the newspaper article that it had to do with, allegedly, he put and installed secret video cameras so that he could watch his fiance and the sister was of age, change clothes. So somehow he got caught. So the shame, this is all legend, the shame mixed with, he was already depressed, mixed with, there was another angle to the story that was made after his death. I cannot remember who said this, but I'm not making this shit up, I read it, that before Brad's death, Tom was like verbal abusing him. And I'm told that he used to do that on and off, possibly as early back as Third Stage LP. And I'm going, what the hell, man? I understand you want perfection on your damn albums. And let's face it, okay, those first 3 albums were the best albums that band ever had, all right? And, if you go take a look on the liner notes of Third Stage, so here's an interesting thing. This is how you can tell whether or not you have an original of Third Stage, whether it be vinyl, cassette, whatever. It doesn't show that Sid Hashim, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, the drummer for Boston, was on 3 tracks. Yeah, and all the hits, how convenient. He's on Amanda, he was on Cool the Engines, and he was on Holly Ann. She plays drums on all 3 of those songs. And then Fran Sheehan, the bass player, co-wrote Cool the Engines. So, I mean, some of this stuff obviously went back to the aborted 3rd album that Epic rejected, supposedly, and that's what caused the lawsuit. And I don't know if anybody out there is a mega Boston fan. Tell me, is there any unreleased stuff in the can from the Brad Delp era from that 3rd album? Because I certainly would be curious to hear it. But so basically, the band that everybody's accustomed to, they only play on Don't Look Back. So, which is not a bad album. I think it's really funny when the band was depressed, or should I say Tom was depressed. First Boston sells 6 million copies. Second album for Boston only sells 2 million. Do you know most musicians would probably give their left nut, or for women, their left boob, just to have an album that only sold 2 million copies? It's like, listen, Mr. Perfectionist. I'm not a big fan of Walk On. I tried. Don't get me wrong. I liked Frank Cosmo. I thought his vocals were pretty cool with Orion the Hunter, and on Barry Gaudreau, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, his solo album from 1980, which if you do not have that, you need to explore. That may end up being a JBH, but not because it's a bad record. It's because of the controversy that's around that record. And it did not chart very well either due to said controversy. So, okay, Journey to the Center. I did not know that the reissue had rolling papers. That's funny. Yeah, Big Bamboo from Cheech and Chong. That's right. I do have an original Third Stage pressing, so I'll have to check that. Yeah. So your OG press would have just Jimmy Mestia on drums. Sid went to, I don't know if there was a lawsuit involved with that, but they ended up, I remember this, that they had to put a sticker on the because the inside gatefold was the one where it had the credits. And so the sticker says Sid Hashim, and it's attached to it, at least for a while till they could press it. Yeah, I know, right? Now, saying that though, John, there's a couple songs on the Brad Delp stuff, okay? I'm not talking about Faith, Hope, I think it's called Faith, Hope, Love. No, that's a King's X album. I don't know what that one was. It was released after Brad's death, but it was 2 or 3 demos or something. I don't quite understand with Brad on it. And personally, I don't think they should have released it. It's just my opinion. But and that was the last Boston album, too. They haven't put out another one since. But there is a couple cool tracks on Walk On, and there is a couple cool tracks on Corporate America. At least Boston Greatest Hits, they were smart to put I Really Had a Good Time, which is off of Corporate America. And most people don't even know about that damn album because it was on a small label. I happened to trip on the thing actually shortly after it was released. Walmart had it. I grabbed it, and I've had my copy since. Apparently, Robert Fripp was a band bully. I heard that too. You know, when you got, well, yeah, I'm not saying it was great. You are right, it's weak. But there's like maybe 2 or 3 decent tracks on Walk On. The rest of it, to me, I could live without. Sid Sheen is supposed to have played the first 4 tracks. Well, maybe that's the case then. You know, Saul Bought now, C-Chong, that would have been cool for 76 and 79. Now, if you guys want to get a little slice of the 79 action, now a few weeks ago it was up, so I hope it's still up there, ladies and gentlemen, but you can go see on YouTube Boston live at Giant Stadium, 1979. Yeah, summer of 79 Boston, guys. Well, in fact, if I remember correctly, it was the last tour for that lineup. He busted his hand. Oh, see, I didn't know that. Yeah, they did add a female vocalist. I was not a big fan of that, no offense. It has nothing to do with that she was a female. The fact of the matter is that I just didn't really care for it, for her style, if you will. It did not mesh with Boston. I probably would maybe say the same thing about, I mean, and Sammy Sophine might be a, you know, may have other talents, mind you, but I wasn't really a big fan of her singing on the Underdog Heroes album from Black Oak, Arkansas. I have not acquired Devil's Jukebox, which I am told is now released on Red Splata vinyl, and it's the last album to have Ricky Lee Reynolds, which he recorded before his death. Would you say corporate and life love have things on it that make it worthwhile to own? If you can find corporate America like at a Goodwill, grab it. Life, love, hope, not so much. I mean, if you can find them at Goodwill prices, which I know are getting ridiculous, but, or, you know, I would not spend more than $3 a piece on them, on each, okay? So if you manage to find those things for like that price point, pull the trigger. You're gonna find some interesting things. Or if you just want to avoid corporate America, like I said, you could just go off and get the updated Boston Greatest Hits, which had I really had a good time. They added that as an added track, which that was cool. So yeah, the first 2 albums, all others are shit. Well, like I said, I like the third one too. I know it was a little more glossier because it was the 80s. What do you expect? But also, like I said, the Barry Goodrew album, Goodrew? Yeah. I mean, you're talking Dope's on there, Barry's on there, Sib's on there. There's somebody else I'm missing. Of course, Fran Cosmo's on there too. He has a couple tracks. And you know what? Go get Orion the Hunter, too, if you've never heard that album from '84. Talk about a band that should have kind of made it, okay? I mean, you know, Fran Cosmo, Barry, Michael DeRocher from Heart, the drummer, all right? And there was somebody else, too, but for the life of me, I can't remember. But I've got an original copy of Orion. I know that Rock Candy reissued it, if I remember correctly. I don't know if it's got bonus tracks, but I just remember So You Ran. And like Brad Delp does background vocals on like almost the whole damn album. Oh, and I like the first RTZ album, Return to Zero. I heard there was a second one that was put out shortly before Brad died called Lost. I had never seen one. Yeah, you know, you're right. And I'm thinking truthfully, if they wanted to go back, if Epic was smart, unless they don't have the rights anymore, and Tom's got them, I don't know what that lawsuit was, they would probably put out the Giant Stadium from summer 79. I mean, the video is in color. It's black and white, okay? Because I'm assuming it's maybe, an in-house feed or whatever, but the sound was good. I think just clean it up a teensy and you could release it as a line. Yeah, RTZ, really good album. I'd still say Face the Music is probably my favorite off of there, but when Love Comes Around is okay too. I remember those two were on the radio all the time back in the early 90s anyway. But if you guys never heard the last thing that Brad did, like we're talking, I think it was a month or two before Brad died. So Brad and Barry do a song together, and it sounds just like classic Boston. I'm like, oh my God. And it was those two, and I can't remember who else. There was like a third person, I think, on that thing, and that was it. Just those three. And I'm not kidding you. Just put in Brad Delp, Barry Gadrew, Last Song or something, really. And not Rockaway. Maybe it was Rockaway. It's a damn good song, though. If you haven't heard it, you should hear it. Yes, but there is a good live out there, and have a Long Beach on tape from 77. See, I don't, 77, that'd be fine too. The only reason why I'm saying 79 would be cool, because at least you get the first two albums. I also could have sworn I thought I heard that in the 79 tour, they were introducing one or two new songs sometime during that tour. Like I said, once again, I don't know if that's stuff that landed eventually on Third Stage, or it was just from that aborted third album project. I have no clue. I really would love to find out about that, because as we were talking about Boston, now everybody's going to have their objective as to what a perfect album is, okay? Maybe eventually I may do a thread, because it'll be an opinionated piece. Everybody's going to have different answers. But what I mean by a perfect album is you don't have to get up from your chair to move the record over until side one's over and you flip it to side two. So Boston's Boston is one of those albums. Who's Next is another one, in my opinion. The Monkees, Pisces, Aquarius, Capricorn, and Jones is another one, in my opinion. Yes, The Doors' first album, Led Zeppelin's first album. See, I'm giving you guys examples. Black Sabbath's Heaven and Hell. I mean, those are some perfect albums, in my opinion, right there. And there's probably a hell of a lot more. How many great bands came from the Boston area? Boston, Aerosmith, Jay Giles, Mighty Mighty Bosstones. I'll tell you, I like Jay Giles. And I mean, okay, I remember hearing Must Have Got Lost. That was maybe the first Jay Giles I heard. But then MTV came around, and I got to hear Love Stinks, which I love that song. And in The Wedding Singer, I like what Adam Sandler does with it. But I heard Love Stinks, but I also liked Come Back, because Come Back, do. And I'm like, I love that whole song the way it goes. And then Freeze Frame, most of that damn album I like. One of my favorite instrumental tracks is the B-side, Flamethrower. I don't think it's on the album, but Flamethrower is a nice, juicy, a bit of funkiness there, if you've never heard Flamethrower. Oh yeah, and the Cars. Let's see. What's my favorite Cars album? Probably, it's a toss-up between Panorama and Candy-O, truthfully. A few songs on second album on tape I have for Encore, a song called Television Politician they did. And that's funny because I think that got reworked and eventually went to Corporate America LP in the 2000s. So Television Politician. Yeah. Love Stinks. Yeah. Love Stinks. But Jay Giles, damn it, I all right, what? Jake Isles Band was what, around since 1969, 1970? So it was around a very long time. Freeze Frame came out in what, 81, 82? And, I mean, hell, when I was coming back from work last night, Angel was the centerfold was on. I knew all the words. I'm like, at the end, I'm going to the damn song, and I'm just like, it's ingrained in your head. And if you remember seeing the video when he's counting 1, 2, 3, 4, and the drummer goes and it's milk that's coming out of the drum, I'm like, that's goofy. But I'm not gonna lie, I also spent a bunch of time looking at the cheerleaders when they're doing cartwheels. You know why. Anyways, but Peter Wolf left, which I thought was, you know, a big mistake, I think. But I mean, Lights Out, Lights Out's okay, but I'm like, and then when they tried to do that one without Peter Wolf, You're Getting Even While I'm Getting Odd, which I'm not gonna lie, I haven't heard all that album. I've heard a couple tracks. I just was not a big fan of that record. And then the last song that they ever do before breaking up the first time was in '85. They actually are on the soundtrack to Fright Night. They do. It's another. Seth Justman, the drummer, sings on it. If you look at the first Boston, yep, it's I love the artwork to all those Boston albums. They kept it like a continual basis. Oh, is Flamethrower on the album? Thanks for looking. But yeah, I mean, I discovered it before I bought the album. I thought it was just you know, sometimes, and I love bands that will put B-sides that are not on the albums, because that's like a little extra joy, you know, for any fan of anything. Yes. You know, like I said, I like the Cars. I do. It's just too bad that I don't really know the whole story, okay? But I'm told between is it Heartbeat City? Heartbeat City and Door to Door. You know, I mean, everybody had their solo albums and such, and you know, they got burned out. They didn't want to do it anymore. And then, oh my God, I am having such a brain fart today. The bass player, Stay the Night, that guy died. And then they ended up doing Blue Chip in 2010, 2011. I'm glad they came back for another round before Rick died. Yeah, Full House and Blow Your Face Out, that's right. Whammer Jammer. That's what I remember also hearing on the radio too. I'm like, who the hell is this? Now, mind you, I'm like 12, 13 years old, but I even thought that stuff was pretty damn cool. So you saw the Cars in '82, so the Shake It Up tour. I like that album too. I would say that the first 4 albums, so from the Cars debut to Shake It Up, I really like. Heartbeat City and I don't know, I don't like You Might Think, for some reason, that's on the greatest hits. I just wasn't a big fan of that song, and I'm not a big fan of that video either. And Door to Door, I think the only song that I really liked on it was Strap Me In. I liked that one. After that, it was, you know, not so much. Ben Orr, thank you, that's right, died of cancer, and that's too bad on that. I came across, I don't know, maybe you Cars fans can tell me, is it good or is it bad? I tripped today on Greg Hawk's solo album. I didn't even know he did one. And it was reasonably priced. I mean, tell me in the comments if it's worth it. But yes, Whammer Jammer. But yeah, I mean, every major city had a lot of big bands coming out of it. Another one, you Boston fans are going to love this. Standells, that's right. Got that dirty water. And I know there's a fight between 2 Standells. I don't know what that, between Larry Tamblyn and, oh God, who the hell's the other one? And I'm going, oh my, we almost sound like we're in high school. But like one's talking smack or getting the stories wrong, I don't know. Nick Lowe and the chaps and Paul Carrick opened up for the Cars. That would have been a great little bill. Now, saying that, I think I brought up on here that I'm not much of a Squeeze fan. I tried. I don't like pulling muscles from Michelle. Black Coffee in Bed I can put up with, but always my favorite song, and they had it when I was coming home from Springdale today. They played it, and it was tempted by the fruit of another. Tempted, but the truth is discovered. What's been going on now that you have gone? Yeah, see, I can't sing. Yeah, see, now you're going to have to go spin the Standells. I don't have any Standells LP vinyls. Every time I've come across one, it has been stomped to death like an elephant. It is ridiculous. So I've got maybe one or two Standell 45s, but I don't have. I bet it was. Excuse me. But yeah, I mean, so yeah, Boston, New York, Atlanta, Cleveland, Chicago. Speaking of, I might as well bring this back. It was announced this week. Hey, Glenn, thanks for coming on, and you take care. Have a good evening, and hopefully, I don't know if Joe will be doing a show tomorrow morning or not, because I can't do the night shows when he does them on Sunday nights. Nice. I don't think I even have any CDs, to be honest with you, not Standells anyway. So my favorite would be Tempted. For a Chicago band, I don't know a lot of info on this one, but the Flock have reunited, ladies and gentlemen. The Flock. We are talking about the band that put out on Columbia Records, The Flock and Dinosaur Swamps, and in the mid-'70s, an album for Mercury. That's right. I know that some of the band members are dead. I want to say there's only 2 or 3 OG members left, but Jerry Smith is one of them because he's the one that announced that the Flock is returning. When the Red Sox won their first World Series in almost a century. Oh yeah, you heard Dirty Wire, Boston, you're my home. Okay, good. I'll probably make at least a short appearance tomorrow on Joe's show. I'll try to. I liked today's show, at least for what I saw of it. I thought it was really neat that there was Joe and you, Danny, and me. And I don't know who Mr. Ed is. That was new to me. And, of course, Mello, you know. I thought that was pretty neat, that little lineup we had. Sorry. Man, oh, man. All right. So, let's see, is there anything else I need to tell you guys? Because in a minute or two, I think I'm going to wrap this up. Let's see. Commercial time. The new Jukebox from Hell will be filmed in the next day or two. We will be, for episode 34, will be on your scorecards. We will be doing the 1995 Fleetwood Mac album, Time. That's right. That will be the next Jukebox from Hell. Looking forward to doing that. I took a musical grenade for you people. As everybody's like, we didn't ask you to. It's an interesting album, to say the least. We'll leave it at that. And then I've got maybe 1 or 2 more after that are locked in. After that, though, I've got about 3 or 4 openings for the season. So if anybody's got some suggestions, I do have my suggestion book, which is over there. And like I said, I do shout-outs. So the one after Fleetwood Mac's Time is a request. So we'll be doing that. Danny, I know you've had some good advice for Mail, but you and I know he'll never listen. That's just who he is. The Flock, what a memory. Vaguely know of any tracks. They did, off of the first album, a very cool yet interesting cover of the Kinks' Tired of Waiting for You. And of course,
the main member that pulled off of the flock after the flock broke up was Jerry Goldstein, okay, who was the violin player who would join Mahavishnu Orchestra, and then I think he even had a solo album or two, like in the 90s or O's. But I wonder if he's going to bring Jerry back. That'd be pretty cool, to tell you the truth. So let's see. I mean, then you could have two Jerrys, and then like I said, there's only 2 or 3 original members left alive. But I've got, like I said, I got both Columbia LPs. They're both 2i stereo. I got the Mercury one, which some of them came with press kits. I'm trying to look far out to look for that one too. I'm told including a signed 8x10, which I really would like to find all that. And then they, of course, did 45s on Destination Records as well for the flock. And so some fun there, along with their bandmates at the time, the Crying Shames. They both were on Destination in the mid-1960s. So I'm glad, that these bands, and here's another one for you. If you don't know anything about this, go look into it, because I think you're going to enjoy this. There is a new album that is going to maybe be coming out by the end of this year. The end of 2024, you will see a new album from a band that was created in 1967. Yeah. And it's mostly original members. Mostly. I think it's 4 or 5 of them. We're talking about the Strawberry Alarm Clock, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, that's right. Incense and Peppermints. Wake Up Until Tomorrow. All that other little bit of fun that you remember from Uni Records. And so, yeah, they're making a new album. They're doing a Kickstarter campaign, if I remember correctly, or Bandcamp. You'll have to look. Go on Strawberry's official website. That'll explain a lot more. But, the only big omission will be Ed King. I mean, he loved, what was it? He was in that Strawberry Alarm Clock reunion in the 80s when they came back. But, yeah, so Strawberry Alarm Clock are coming back this year. A song, don't recall by the flock in my head right now. Now is Different Street. I just came across that today, that vinyl. Yeah, but you know what? It works, though. It works. That whole damn song. I heard they only spent 5 minutes on the lyrics. It worked. That's all we could say about it. It worked. It was one of those nice little Summer of Love pieces. God, who the heck else was I going to bring up that they're putting out a new album or getting ready to? But yeah, if you can afford it, go put it towards Nectar. Like I said, is doing a Kickstarter or a Bandcamp. Go please donate so we can get that before the end of the year. A new studio album, Strawberry Alarm Clock. There's a third one. I'm missing it now too. Damn it! This will teach me. I don't remember. I was in a Catholic seminary when that was a hit. Loved the song, hated where I was. Eventually there, Mike, I may be going to a Catholic seminary. And I know you're sitting there going, what? There's a man that I've been wanting to interview. Yeah, interview. If we can get away with this, I'm going to film it. And then maybe we'll, but I'm trying right now to get in contact with John Michael Talbot, who, of course, started Mason Prophet with his brother Terry, and in the 60s on Ampex, and then Warner, and then you had the Talbot brothers, and then you had John Michael Talbot, born-again Christian, solo artist, excellent guitarist, and I hope to get him, but he has a missionary over there in Arkansas, so I would have to go to him. Yeah, exactly right, John. Now, I don't know how they're going to release it exactly. They do want to obviously do physical media. I know CDs will definitely be part of it, and streaming. I don't know.
Well, the what was because I'm probably going to visit a seminary in Northwest Arkansas very soon to hopefully film for that interview. Way back in '67 in Cheshire, Connecticut. All right. You know what, guys? You've been good. You really have. I have the best damn audience of all of YouTube. I don't care what anybody says. And, we're going to wrap this up here now. Wednesday, I hope to do a show. I'm not promising yet. And like I said, if I'm going to do a show Saturday, it will probably be Saturday afternoon and next Saturday due to, I think the doors open at 6 p.m. for wrestling. And so, yeah, on that. They haven't announced the guests for Little Rock Comic Con. If they end up announcing either Ric Flair or Sting, I will find a way to get to Little Rock because I have to meet those two. I just have to. Because some of the people I want to meet, they're dead. I can't meet Andre the Giant or Macho Man or, oh boy, there's just too many. There's too many. All right. Paul, we love you. I can't do it like Danny. Yeah, I know you couldn't pay me to go here. Okay. Anytime. Mike, hang on. So, anytime. Nope, I don't want to put user in timeout. I didn't even know I had that option. Anytime that I think of Catholicism, nuns, if you will, I think of two things: the Flying Nun from Sally Field and the Blues Brothers movie where Jake and Elwood go to visit the old Catholic parochial school, and Jake just swears up a blue streak and the nun keeps hitting him with the ruler. And that's great. And the whole damn desk with him, then it goes down the stairs. I'm like, I lost it in the movie theater. I'm 13 and I'm going, I'm like, that's great. That's right. And, it's not fair what the hell happened to Ed King from Skinner. And you can actually blame Rossington for this because there was multiple different interviews from different band members. I think Artemis agreed with this, and Ed said it too, that because Ed got sick during his second tenure of Skinner. And I'll just say this, okay? Obviously, the original Skinner LPs from 73 to 77. Go get them. They are some of the best Southern rock you're ever going to hear from Gainesville, Florida. But I also will say to you, give Lynyrd Skynyrd 1991 a chance, okay? You get every surviving member comes back for that LP, because right after that LP comes out, if I remember correctly, Artemis Pyle gets fired after the tour, I think. If I remember, got my facts straight. And they all start going one by one out of that band, either by death or firing. How about Nuns on the Run? But here's okay, I've never seen the movie. Was the track that was by George, was it ever released? Because I know, like, when that shitty movie, Madonna and Sean Penn, Shanghai Surprise, even though that was done by Handmade Films, for like a bunch of years, like I want to say 5 or 6 years, some of that soundtrack stuff went unreleased until they were used as B-sides for Cloud 9, and then I think that some of the other stuff landed somewhere else. But no, I don't know about that. I don't know which track for Nuns on the Run. I wonder if it ever got legitimately released. He didn't like the partying. He died of cancer years later. Don't forget to set the clocks ahead tonight. That's right, kids. Remember, it's always spring forward, fall back. That is how it works. Oh, okay, Blow Away. I love that song. That's one of my favorite George tunes. Yep, and they never invited, which was a big damn mistake. But at least Artemis is still out there doing his thing, and I am told that, and so if Artemis ever comes near you, yes, he does at the end of the show, comes out and meets with the audience, whoever wants to, signs the Skinner stuff, whatever, okay? So try to meet Artemis. I came this close. The only Skinner guy I almost met was Bob Burns, the original drummer, but because he was in a Southern all-star type band, it was him, Charlie Hardwick from Blackfoot. Oh, God. I think some guy from Point Blank. Remember that band, Point Blank? That was a good Southern band, too. Managed by Bill Ham from ZZ Top. If you don't know about Point Blank, look for those first 2 to 3 albums. Those are probably the best for Point Blank. I kid around. I have a coworker named Nicole, and so I'll go off, and she knows, like, if I'm in a really good mood and I bump into her, I was like, "Oh, Nicole, my sweet Nicole," and it's like she just laughs. Yeah, from 79. That's right. Good. Everybody have a good night. And then that Ed King, that is, yes, and but yeah, he was in on the. I think Strawberry tried to do a '90s reunion too, and I could have sworn Ed was involved in that also. And so it's like he loved both of those bands, but it all came down to Rossington pretty much being a dick. That's what I'm hearing allegedly from different people on all sides, and I'm like, jeez, man. See, and cool. Yeah, I'd say, like I said, the first 2-3 albums I like. Let's see. Okay, guys. Don't go see Blackfoot. It's all fake, but here's what's weird. Ricky Medlock has now got a new Ricky Medlock band. He goes out, okay? So you can hear that good old school Blackfoot stuff. I like the old stuff. Of course, I like Train Train and Highway Song, and there's 1 or 2 other ones I like. When they got to like the mid-'80s, when they added Ken Hensley from Uriah Heep, how about that for Strange, right? Like I think the last 2 albums, like Siago and Vertical Smile, both had Ken Hensley on them, and I'm just like, that's a little odd, but whatever. And from what I heard from like 1 or 2 of the band members, they weren't too keen on having Ken. Oh well. All right, I gotta get going, guys. I gotta make a quick family-related phone call before it gets really late because it's 9 o'clock. So I love you guys. Take care. God bless. Rock on. Always powered by coffee each and every time. Like I said, I'm not going to promise, but I'll try to see if I can do a short show Wednesday. Maybe I'll have some different stuff. I don't have a lot of money this week. So if it's going to be anything, it'll be like buck CD fines or vinyl fines or some shit. Although I do have to go to the record store to sell a box of albums. So who knows? I usually definitely get a trade of a couple bargain bin albums, so maybe I'll have some stuff to show you guys. I don't know. But until then, guys, take care. God bless. Rock on. Good night. And please continue the prayers for Charlotte, my little cutie granddaughter. Don't worry, Charlotte. Maybe a month or 2 from now, crazy grandpa will come by for a visit. I love all my kids. I have 10 grandkids now. I have a baseball team. Thanks, John, and Danny, and everybody else. You guys are amazing. All right. Good night.